Just do the Seinfeld intro.
Yeah, I told you we were businessmen. We sell fucking guitars, okay? Is that a problem? That's our business, okay?
That's how you need to talk to all people that are a little too nosy.
Watch out for the lying bald men.
Oh, he'd stick his dick. Yeah, he'd put his dick on that one. Mm-hmm.
He goes,
it's the only way. That's right. That's right.
Come on, helmet head.
I heard that they improv that every time, that it was never the same. It's like, no
way.
I just heard that. I don't know if it's true.
Hey, I never watched it, so I don't know.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Here we are again, another episode. Rockin' and
good
rollin'.
One. The epitome of today's episode.
Welcome to Click and Flick. I'm Ammiel.
I'm Melissa. And we love to talk about video games and movies.
And we love to call them clicks and flicks.
Yes. Yes, we do. and
we
we
love
also
to
give
rate
them...
Oh.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah, we like to rate them. We like to give our own opinions on the clicks and flicks. And you don't have to take it seriously, I promise.
No.
Nothing to write home about.
You don't have to agree with us on it. This is just to hear what we think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell us what you think, too. So, there's that.
Yes.
So, on today's episode, we're going to start with a click. And today's click was recommended by none other than yours truly, Ammiel. And it is called... Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just thought it would be good to do a Jack Black night.
Yes.
Jack Black's one of my celebrity crushes, so I wanted to do an episode dedicated to the legend.
The love of your life. Yeah. And it's crazy because I didn't even know about this game until you told me. No idea. Mm-hmm. No clue. And it is called Brutal Legends. And it came out in 2009, which I was pretty surprised because I was hitting the gaming scene right then. So I don't know. I don't know why it didn't come across to me. But it came out on October 13th, 2009. It won a VGX award for Best Voice. Go figure. Because Jack Black's voice is just...
The voice acting... And not just Jack Black, but there's a lot of... Ozzy Osbourne is a voice. Yep. The lead singer
Tim Curry is a voice.
Tim Curry is a voice. Lead singer of Judas Priest and Motorhead are both do voices. They have way more. Yeah.
And what's crazy is that I didn't even know. I kind of went into the game blind. And then when I heard Ozzy's song, like when I heard that in the game, I was like, hold on. How do you get the rights to this? And then I look it up. Sure enough, he's in the game as a character. I was like, whoa. That is some shady shit if they're getting away with it. But no, he was a part of the game, so super neat to find out. It was published by EA, and we all know that the only good that comes from EA is Sims, and even that's a stretch. So
challenge everything, even the notion that games should be fun.
Yes. Yes.
Except for Brutal Legend.
I was pleasantly surprised. I was expecting just the run-of-the-mill kind of indie feel of a game, but no, it was... Mm-hmm. It had some great graphics for its time, and it was very emotive. Like, the faces were really emotive and expressive when it came to, like, talking and cutscenes. It was super neat. So it is a main story real-time strategy kind of game because you can control like hordes of people and kind of place them as such. But the gameplay switches up here and there. It mostly focuses on like real-time strategy. And so with that being said, I wanted to get into the beginning of the game because the beginning of the game takes off perfectly, in my opinion. So Jack Black, it shows up as IRL in real life. It's Jack Black, and he's being followed by a cameraman talking about this record that you gotta come see because this is epic ass record. And walks into the record store, greets everybody, says hi. It's in this spot that nobody's like really allowed to go into. And he creeps in, kind of like double, takes a, what's that word? Takes a
double look, like looks over at his shoulders. Mm-hmm. Double take, yeah.
Yeah. And then goes in, searches for the record. He's like, it's not here. And then looks under like a shelf underneath and he found it and it's called The Brutal Legend. And he just pulls out this record and then lays it down on the table. There's probably more to it, but he lays the record down on the table and that's where you get to press start. And I thought that was super unique. I was like, okay, if this was a game of like Jack Black had any say in, it's very apparent. Like,
yes,
it was pretty
that great. Opening just to get to the title page.
Yeah,
it's just so like it's just bringing you right into the world.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, super unique with Jack Black doing that. And then once you press start, you are enveloped into the game. Kind of like Guitar Hero graphics.
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah, very cartoony.
It's around that time, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think
Guitar Hero was just like coming off of its like insane
like huge
popular phase. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
I think at this point probably like already Rock Band was like out too. They had made like the multiple like copycat games of
Hero, singing and drums and stuff. Yeah.
Karaoke Hero. Yeah, I remember that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. So super cool to start off with. And you are introduced to Jack Black's character, Eddie Riggs. And you can tell it's Jack Black because, he's similar facial features, but he's got this long hair and like he's super
like buff.
He looks like a badass. It's amazing. I love it.
It's like someone drew Jack Black's like spiritual personification instead of his actual human body.
Yes. What you kind of envision in him, like in your dreams of Jack Black.
It's
that's
like
Jack who
Black's,
he is.
Yes, exactly. The dream version of himself. Yeah.
Yes. So you're introduced to his character, and he's kind of like the roadie, the crew to this concert that's going on. So, you've got the stage, you've got the background of the stage, and kind of like the perspective of kind of what's going on back behind the scenes.
Yeah.
What I loved about this part is that it asks you how much profanity you want in the game. And I was like, give it all to me. I want it all.
He's like, that mother. And it pauses. And it's like, do you want to hear bad words or not?
Yes. Oh, I thought that was awesome. I thought that was so cool because, like, sure, there are some people that just don't, they don't find it funny or it's just not their vibe. So the fact you have the option is pretty neat.
And I think that it even says, like, some people think it's funnier to hear the beeps. Or some people think it's funnier to hear the cuss words. Which one do you want to do?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And it's like, just the fact that that's an option itself is kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The satire, the right word. It was great. And then, I mean, later on, I'll ruin it, but you get to choose how much gore you see as well. So
how much blood?
You can, all the blood, the nasty parts of it.
What did you
which
choose?
Also, again,
no censor on either.
Oh yeah, I said give it all to me just because I was curious.
Yeah, I want to see it all.
yeah. Yeah. So once you choose those settings, the set comes alive to some extent. So there's like this demon kind of metallic skull bull thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like Satan. It's just a weird kind of demonic metal thing in the back of the stage
like
set. Yeah. Yeah.
Not quite.
Not quite, but it's close.
But a bull with horns.
Bull horn, yeah. And once it comes alive, Jack. Why did I say Jack's blood? Because is it Jack's blood that gets into his own belt buckle? Well, once the blood gets into the belt buckle, he gets power. Obviously, Jack does. Eddie Riggs, and he kills the concert literally. Like he gets transported into this like tomb. Would you call it a tomb? It just kind of looks like a boss lair that's like demonic and kind of
like a portal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's like a shrine in the middle of it, and then surrounding this arena is just gross, like bones and nasty looking stuff. And Eddie's character ends up gaining an axe and a guitar, so those are his two main wielding weapons. And the guitar specifically is so rad because all you got to do is just play a few chords, and it's kind of like a mage, like a staff. Because it can shoot out like fireballs or shock an enemy, which is super cool.
The people that he like steals the axe from are worshipers. Mm-hmm. They're like worshiping that guy, right? They think that he brought him back as a sacrifice,
right? Mm-hmm.
And that's where he finds the axe.
Yeah, you're right. I appreciate you keeping me on track. I think I started this game like 2 weeks ago too.
No, me too. But I'm trying to
keep it straight so I don't.
I'm trying to remember, I'm trying to remember it for me, too.
Fair. That's fair. Yeah, it's basically him acquiring his weapons, just being transported into that new dimension of demonic overthrow, if you will. Because when he wakes up, he's confused. Obviously, he doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So.
And it's like a different world because he first thinks that he's in the past. He's like, oh, isn't this like medieval times?
Oh,
but
yeah.
It turns out that it's just a different world. It's just like a rock world.
Mm-hmm. A rock world, yeah. Once he starts traversing after kind of the fighting arena where you kind of get the hand on all the weapons and all that good stuff, he charges forward and meets a girl named Ophelia. And he meets her in the midst of these, it's hard to explain, but they're feminine creatures, but they've got like a robot face. It's really strange. But he's fighting these feminine looking creatures and then finds Ophelia in the midst of them.
And they also kind of are like bug-like looking for some reason. Like
a bug-like, yeah. They're real
look
thin.
Like praying mantis-ish. Like robot, I don't know. They're cool looking.
It's super creative, yeah. It was super creative to make an enemy like that. But you kind of get the gist of what's going on once you meet Ophelia. She kind of tells him like, hey, you're in this realm of rock and, you got to use the rock power for good. And this is going to be able to project you forward with learning like guitar riffs and certain things that give you certain buffs over time, which is cool. Mm-hmm. And I believe she gives him a little bit of the lore insight too on, the the Emperor, what's his name? The Emperor and the Lady. I think she kind of like touches base on like these two main characters of the world who are kind of controlling everything. And that they're trying to defeat them because they've got hold of a group of girls and they've got a hold of a group of guys separately under their control, which is bad. And then once you find out that lore and you end up making it out of, because you're kind of traversing from top to bottom of this arena area, you're kind of going back down to earth, if you will. And once you get down to earth, you get to assemble this badass hot rod car and ride around in that. But the hot rod car is super rad. Like, it's super cool.
I heard that the main vision for this game, like they were like, what's like the thesis? They're like, you kill things with an axe and a guitar and you drive around in a hot rod. Now, how do we make a game out of that?
Yeah. I thought it was cool because you can run over enemies with it. You can go fast. You can jump places. Super neat.
And if it flips over, you fall out.
Yeah. And he's like, I gotta get back to my car. The one-liners from Jack Black in the movie or in the game is great.
I was just gonna say those one-liners are so funny.
Solid. They together, Eddie and Ophelia end up defeating this demon that was kind of gatekeeping the area they were trying to get out of and get back to what Ophelia would call the king, like the kind of the king of rock kind of guy. And they're trying to get back to him to kind of regroup. So they defeat that demon. They ride off. He rides off into with his hot rod towards the guy named Lars. That's the king that Ophelia was referring to. And Lars, when you meet him, Lars is considered the leader of the resistance. And he's got this blonde hair. So it kind of reminds me of like total opposites, like heavy metal. And then you've got kind of like this, I didn't know what kind of genre to put him in, but the first like band that came to mind was like Poison or Guns N' Roses. Like that's the immediate like comparison I felt. Anyway.
Yeah. It's all rock and roll, like all different types. Like you see like people like each character has like a very specific genre of rock that they like kind of represent, which is
it's super neat,
which is like even when you get down to like the headbangers that are like very distinctly in like the two. But anyways, I won't
exactly
keep going.
Yeah, we're right there anyway. You're fine. So meeting up with Lars, you also meet Lida, who's a blonde chick who is kind of like Lars's like right hand. And they all agree that they've got to go save the headbangers, the guys that are being basically minions to the they're just being controlled, basically.
They've been brainwashed to be the like worker bees for this like evil guy.
Underground construction thing, and then they talk about the girls who are basically in a sex dungeon for the guy too. And I was like, okay, come on now. Whatever. So you part ways and you end up going to the caves where the headbangers are to start the process of recruiting them and saving them, basically. And when you get to them, I was pleasantly shocked at what they looked like. I was like, why are they so weird looking? So you get into this cave area, you start in, and you just see these guys lining the walls, kind of like the halls of like the volcano of Mordor, And these guys are just headbanging into the wall.
They look like the little thumbs at first from Spy Kids.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
When you get closer to them, you realize that they're like heads.
They're traps.
They're just so like built from going like this that it's like literally like a.
They're just a cone. They're a triangle.
Are just like thick.
Yeah, they're thick.
With 8 eyes.
Yeah. Some of them have headbands, so it's great. The attention to detail was solid. So yeah, you recruit those guys by playing a sick ballad, and it kind of breaks them out of their entrancement. And they're like, "Oh yeah, we want to rock for you, man!" And then they follow Eddie Riggs around and like,
that riff you just heard. That's what you should be banging your head for, not for the man.
Yes.
The only reason you should bang your head is for rock and roll. Something like that.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So yeah, you go on that quest of getting all those guys, saving them, for lack of a better term, and you end up reconning or realigning with Lars and Lita, but Ophelia is nowhere to be found right when you get to see Lars and Lita. And Ophelia ends up coming up, but she's like wounded really bad, like on her deathbed kind of thing. And Lars is like, dude, we got to get her to what's this guy's name? They get ready to take Ophelia, because she's so wounded, to the Killmaster, who is voiced by Lemmy, lead singer of Motorhead. Thank you, Ami.
He has like this cowboy hat on and like
glasses, aviators.
Yeah.
Yes. And they say in the game, like, don't let his name fool you. He's a good guy. And you bring her all the way up to his lair. And there's a bunch of things you have to do in order to get him, I guess, to play a certain song of healing, if you will.
Yeah, like he uses the power of, obviously, rock and roll to heal.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Because if you can use the power her soul. Of rock and roll to kill, right? Why right?
Why not heal? Exactly. There's a lot of side quests that you can do, a lot of building up and like kind of leveling up, if you will. Side missions, but once he gets his demon wings, once he sprouts those wings, I don't know how he gets to that point, Eddie? But you do?
No, I said Eddie.
Oh yeah. Once Eddie grows his wings, they're like, holy shit, cool. But once he does that, they're basically deeming him the person that's going to be able to save humanity from this, realm of existence. And
they mention when he first gets there that like there was a prophecy saying that whatever that demon monster was that brought him in, they were saying that person is going to bring, or that demon was going to bring in the person to like save them.
Yes.
And then the other girl's all, or destroy us. And Lars is all, there's some, what's it called? There's some debate on the translation. Yeah. So he ends up being the deliverer.
The deliverer. Yes. Then you get wind of Lion White, who is basically the bigger bad guy of the smaller like bosses that you were defeating along the way. He's kind of starting to become like a head honcho that you need to defeat. And Eddie and his group defeats him, and they move on, and they find a bigger and badder guy who's the Emperor Diviculus.
Yes.
And he's voiced by Tim Curry. Diviculus.
I wonder if they did that because it sounds like ridiculous.
Maybe. That's funny. But yeah, voiced by Tim Curry, amazing.
I love that.
Right? Holy shit, this game did not get the recognition it definitely deserved.
No.
Besides the voice acting award, but it should have been more known.
I think like it was because it has like good reviews and stuff. If you look it up, it's all like positive
easily feedback. 80% plus. Yeah.
So I just feel like
I just didn't know about it. Maybe I lived under a rock.
I feel like there just wasn't enough like marketing and stuff for it between everything going on with the lawsuits and I did look it up and it was originally an Activision Blizzard. And they dropped the title and then it was picked up by EA. So then Activision and EA went into lawsuits about technically it was started being made under us, so we could still like have publishing rights or whatever. But it's like, so apparently that was the big thing. Yeah.
Wow. Well.
So yeah, that's what
history repeats itself. Anyway.
Game developers, get your shit together.
Get your shit together. So you get a little bit more insight on Emperor Diviculus, and then you're also introduced to Zakuria. And Zakuria is this like female what I call her, demon queen kind of. She's like the controller,
like a breed of succubus, like a certain type of.
Yeah. So forgive me. Sorry. So you're introduced to them too, and once they start talking about Zakuria, Ophelia is kind of like, well, I know who it is, and they're like, who? So the immediate assumption was that Ophelia might be her. That she's kind of just like in a human body kind of disguise thing. But Ophelia is like, no, I'm not. It's not me, obviously, but I know who it is and I'm not going to say. So they're immediately sus of her.
Yeah.
And so with that information, they continue on anyway. Lars and the Emperor, Diviculus, they face off. And Lars tragically dies. Oddly enough. He just gets impaled. And it's pretty tragic. It's pretty upsetting. Lita's really upset.
We weren't ready for it.
We weren't fucking ready for it. I wasn't ready to hear about it. That was messed up.
No.
So after they leave the area where Lars has died, they reconvene and Lita tries to kill Ophelia because she's like, you know something and I hate you for knowing it and Lars is dead now. So I'm going to kill you. And Eddie tries to stop her. He's like, no. Let's not play this game. And Ophelia again reassures them, I'm not her. Trust me. I'm not that bitch, okay? And then there comes a little bit of lore in the game that explains a little bit of why Eddie's here and who he is as a pawn in part of this reality. Mm-hmm. And apparently there was a huge orgy for like 10 years, something like that, in the books. It's just this huge ongoing orgy.
Oh my God.
When I heard this, I was clapping.
Amazing.
Right. It was written in stories and songs. It was.
Please take a page out of the writer's books of this game, and everybody, when you're making a lore, why not include more orgies?
I'm just saying, include a real life activity, please.
Exactly. Make it realistic for the player.
Relatable, at least. Come on now.
Quit being such fucking prudes.
Yes. And so the story gets a little bit wonky, as if it's not already, and if I didn't already butcher it, but something during that 10-year orgy, which was said to be a long time ago, Securia had reached out to what used to be Eddie's reality. So kind of like the continuation of... Not the continuation, forgive me. She reached into another dimension. There we go. And snagged up Eddie's father. Okay?
Oh.
Yeah. So in this lore, Eddie's finding this out. Like, she snatched his dad, pulled him into her reality. And, you know, they were kind of doing some shady shit together, but they end up falling in love. And she ends up getting pregnant. And now we have Eddie.
Mommy?
Excuse
me? Mommy? Sorry.
Excuse me? Sorry. So you find out that Eddie is a product of Securia and his father. You're just like, what the fuck? Eddie's dad fell in love with the demon queen, the succubus. And that also explains why Eddie has the demon wings.
Yes.
So that gives you a little bit of closure as far as that goes. And
why he was the chosen one.
why the prophecy was there, the lore, all of that in the beginning was explained in this part.
Yes.
And after you find out that tad bit of information, there's a bunch of time traveling that happens. I'm avoiding that because I didn't play the game. I don't want to butcher further. But there's just a lot of scenes of time traveling with him and a lot of things going on with Ophelia and her becoming evil. Gotta throw that in there because she's losing her way at this point. And after that section of time traveling, Eddie decides he's going to make a super weapon. And as was explained in what I saw, it's OP as fuck. So when you are heading into this ending bit of the game, this super weapon literally makes the brutal difficulty like easy peasy. So I heard from one person that was just a snag in the game of it just being like, okay, well, if I chose brutal difficulty, it should be a little bit more challenging than this. But that was just one person.
A little bit too easy to play.
Yeah. And I played on easy. I was playing for the story, not for the fighting. So
I played on normal.
It was really easy.
I had some difficulties at certain parts.
Really?
Like, I didn't beat every boss first right away, but
yeah, and I played on easy and I didn't beat every boss first. I was close to death quite a few times. So
yeah.
I'm sure navigating was rough too. Yeah, so once he starts assembling the super weapon to destroy Emperor Diviculus and Securia, or I should say Ophelia, sorry, because she's turning evil. Once you're in endgame content, the Emperor shows up to where Eddie is, and while Eddie's trying to talk to Ophelia, the Emperor then rips Ophelia's heart out and fucking eats it.
Brutal.
And if that's not heavy metal shit, I don't know what is. Brutal. I'm sorry. It took me a second.
Sorry.
Because I was just thinking of Ozzy and the Bats. Like, that's intense shit, you know?
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah.
So, I was like, hell yeah, that's metal as fuck.
Legend.
Yeah. So he tosses Ophelia's body, is pretty much done with her, the Emperor does. And the Emperor then summons a mega monster. What I'm assuming is the mega monster cuts the Emperor's head off during this battle between Eddie, the monster, and the Emperor. Mm-hmm. Cuts the Emperor's head off and rips his heart out. And So it's just an eye for an eye kind of thing. And once that's done, Eddie jumps into the water to go look for Ophelia, in hopes that she's still alive. He saves her miraculously, and the game is pretty much over after that. But because it's open world, you can still like travel around and like go around and fix things and like get a little bit more content out of some of the like guitar riffs that you can collect and stuff like that. Yeah. On the tiny bit that I played this game, because I feel like I could have gotten all the way through it, no problem, if I had more time. But I would give it a solid 6 out of 10. The only reason it would be a 6 clicks out of 10 is because the story wasn't super engaging to me. I loved the Ophelia like relationship he had. I loved all the characters, but the story itself, like the demonic lore, the alternate reality, like kind of God aspects, that's never rang a bell with me ever.
I feel like they could have made the story a little bit more like exciting or intriguing.
Yeah. More, I don't want to say original because it's pretty original. Like,
yeah.
Who's made a game that's like rock-based? I can't even think of what
I would say like could be changed about it. Like, I don't even necessarily think that there was anything wrong with it. The storyline.
No. No, exactly. That's exactly it. It's just the content of the story that I'm like, I could care less.
I could definitely see them making like in a sequel, just going way more into the lore of the world you're in, and just like really getting to understand the demons and of course, like, I didn't finish playing the game, so how can I even say? But I think I was gonna give it an 8.
Oh, nice.
I thought it was fun.
Jack Black. Yeah.
And Jack Black.
It was rad.
I mean, I just thought it was cool. I thought the story was a little slow, and I was a little annoyed at certain missions that was like, you're just like, go here and talk to this person. Now go back to where you were and do this thing. Now go back to where you were. Now talk to them again. Now go back to where you were. And it was kind of like just a lot of like, not a whole lot of actually doing stuff in certain parts of the game where you're just traveling. Which is always annoying in certain games.
Yeah, the little bit of kind of grind feel that it gets is fetch questy. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the only kind of part I didn't enjoy so much, but I like loved the special moves, like you do a mosh pit.
I know. It was so dope. It was so freaking cool.
And it's very like, I don't know. It still has like a heartwarming story where you're like, rooting for the good guys, even though it's you're basically in hell.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, I would love if they remade it like this year, or if they even like made a sequel. Like, I would love to see more Brutal Legend coming out.
Yes,
because it was this good game. Like, it was solid.
Yeah,
and I think now's the time, people.
Yeah, now's the time. Honestly, games are popping. Get on it. However, I would probably still continue with EA because they had a solid thing going with that game. So, remake, I'm there. Or even a sequel, I'm there. For sure. Yeah.
I would definitely.
It was a fun game. It was good.
Yeah, it was fun.
So yeah, that'll conclude the click for this episode. Let's move on to the flick.
We ready?
I'm so ready.
Tonight's flick, like we said, Jack Black night.
Yes.
So of course, tonight's flick is Tenacious D, the Pick of Destiny.
Yes!
Lightning.
Pew, pew, pew.
Thunder.
Lightning thunder. Yes.
Can
I preface?
Yes, please. Let's start with
I did not watch this movie, not once growing up. I listened to all the music videos, never watched the movie.
Same.
And I'm upset. No way.
Same. I listened to the Tenacioud albums and I watched their actual HBO show. But never actually saw the movie because the movie kind of flopped when it came out.
Did it? Oh, I didn't know this. Oh my god.
But So it came out in 2006. Let me double check that and make sure.
Oh, wow.
And I never saw it when it came out. I think I ended up watching like the opening scene, like that I had memories of. The whole with him as a little kid.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Definitely seen that before, but then after that I hadn't seen the rest of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So basically it starts off in a flashback where Jack Black is a child at home. Basically, he wants to be a rock and roller, and his parents are like, "No, we're a good Christian family. You can't like rock and roll. That's the devil's music. You'll go to hell." And so he grows up and flies out to LA and goes to Venice Beach. I was like,
yes.
"Okay, we were just talking about that."
Right.
And he runs into Kyle Gass, who's playing guitar. And he's like...
On the beach.
I wanted to preface this by saying that this movie is best consumed alongside... you want to pair it with a nice cannabis, I think, to enjoy this movie to its full,
100%, yes.
Potential. So,
potential, yeah.
He sees Kyle... And he's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so good. Can you show me how you do that?" And Kyle's all, "Sorry, I'm not giving free guitar lessons today. You can stand over there and watch." And their relationship is so I love them so much in the movie and in real life because I've heard some actual Tenacious D, they have a lot of lore of how their band came to be, that they make up, this movie, for instance, about how they fight demons and stuff, but some actual Tenacious D lore from, real life of how the band came together is that I heard, they were both, doing, acting or improv classes together, and they were, running in the same groups of, comedy people, and... Jack Black was always really jealous of Kyle Gass, of how, musically inclined he was and how good he was at, the guitar and stuff. And then Kyle was always really jealous of Jack Black and how funny he was. And so they both, really didn't like each other at first. And then they ended up, coming together and combining their forces for good.
Yes. I heard that, too. Didn't Kyle say that? In an interview, isn't that
maybe
he's the one that spilled the tea, isn't it?
Okay, maybe that's where I think I heard it in a podcast somewhere. But yeah, that sounds about right. But that's what that song possible. "Wonder Boy" from their first album is about. It's about them both thinking the other one is so good that they think they're so good, and so they're like, "Well, I don't like them because they think they're so good," but it's really they thought that they were so good.
Yes.
So Jack Black, doesn't have anywhere to go, so he stays, and he's, gets attacked by a gang, a weird, a really weird,
artsy, clown gang.
Clown mime gang, for some reason. It's weird.
It's Venice. It's weird.
Yeah, and Venice Beach people, that's crazy. So Kyle ends up saving him. KJ brings him back to his apartment and agrees to take him under his wing and be his rock mentor. So he's basically telling Jack Black's like, oh, have you heard of this song? I love it. And KG's like, heard of it? I wrote it. Yeah. I'm like a really successful musician. And he lives in like this really shitty little apartment, and it's like dirty, and like the furniture, there's like rips and stains on the couches and stuff. Like, it's not a good place.
Yeah. Dingy.
And he has a check that's made out to I Love You Pumpkin. And he's like, oh, that's royalties for a song. So Jack Black is just like, so he's young and naive. This is his first time in LA, so he's not used to like people trying to con him or anything. He's just like believing him. And he ends up like doing everything that Kyle's teaching him. He teaches him how to do cock push-ups, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's when you lay flat on the ground and you let your boner lift you up.
Yes.
You only need one, but, you know, it gets the job done. So he teaches him how to do all of the tricks for the great rock and roll, you know, the power slide where he slides across the stage on his knees. He makes like a gig night simulator in his house.
Oh, that's
where he sets up like a bunch of like fake people that are like paper plate faces, and has Jack performing for them. And then he keeps saying like, boo, you suck. Like, he has a recording of himself booing that he keeps playing. And JB has to, you know, get through it. And, you know, he fails. He has a hard time and he falls on his guitar and cries. And Kyle's like, don't worry. I didn't pass the gig simulator the first time either. Like, don't feel bad. I forgot to mention that Kyle's hair is very long and gorgeous.
Sultry. Yes.
Up to this point. So they end up getting in like a little tussle, right? And his hair comes off, and Jack's like, "You've been lying to me." Because if there's one thing worse than a liar, it's a bald man. And if you're both, just stay away from me.
Stay away from me. Rules to live by forever.
Watch out for the lying bald men. So he ends up like having a flashback to when he's a kid, and he like, it's like his mom hugging him as he goes to school, and she's like, I love you, pumpkin. And he like goes, and the bullies come and rip his hat off, and he's a bald little kid, and he's like cries, and he's like, ah. And then he like shows back to like present day, and he's like, I'm gonna give up on everything now. You know, I don't have hair. I might as well just move back in with my parents. I don't have money for rent anyways. I already spent it all. And JB is like, what'd you spend it on? And he comes out with like a brand new guitar for him.
Aww.
It's so sweet.
It's super sweet.
So they end up working on their music. They go do a couple open mics, but they're not really getting anywhere with it. So they go and they start looking at all these old like pictures of concerts and videos, and they're like, wait a minute, these like super like heavy like rockers, they're all using the same pick, and it's like this green pick with like demon horns, you know, the same. We're on themes tonight, people.
Yeah.
And they go to Guitar Center to look for the pick, and they see it's Ben Stiller, who's like the guy working the camera.
That's right. Yeah, dude.
So Ben Stiller ends up telling them the legend of the pick of destiny, and it turns out that it's a demon's tooth and anyone who has like possession of it has the powers of Satan in order to summon the most rockable music ever hearable to human ears. And it's in but like no one can get it now because it's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's in the hall.
Yeah.
So they can't get it. But they're like, you know what? We're gonna go get it. So they borrow their friend's car, who's like a pizza delivery guy, and they travel to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But on the way there, they stop at a restaurant where JB gets confronted by this like really like crazy like transient guy who's like we're not sure what his deal is, but he's very like creepy. You're like he's trying to get way too much information, and he sits next to Jables, and he's like, "Are you guys heading to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? You look like a couple of rockers." And he's all, "Nope, we're businessmen." He's like, "Oh, really? Because I see guitars in your back seat." He's all, "Yeah, I told you we were businessmen. We sell fucking guitars, okay? Is that a problem?" That's our business, okay?
That's how you need to talk to all people that are a little too nosy. Yeah.
Exactly.
Not just to anyone.
I said I was a fucking businessman. Now get the fuck off of me. So while he's talking to this guy, trying to like keep it cool, Cage is off flirting with a group of girls who are like going to a party, and they're like, "Oh, you want to come to our party?" He goes, "I'm a really famous musician. We're going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because we're being inducted into it right now." And they're like, "Do you want to come play at our party?" And so they go back, and basically the guy who was creeping on Jables tells him, like, "I tried to get the pick of destiny and I lost my leg," and blah, blah, blah.
That's right.
And JB doesn't want to give up on it, and he goes up to Kyle. He's like, they end up fight. Kyle's like, "I want to go to the party." JB wants to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
So as so they get in a fight. Kyle goes back to the table, and then Jack Black walks to the door and walks out. But as he's walking, he walks past the table, looks. He's all, "Well, I hope you're happy." Or like, he's all, "Because I'm never going to talk to you again," or something. He just says something and like leaves all sad. Is so heartbroken, like about to cry. And Kyle's like, "Sorry, he's my butler. I had to let him go."
That's right.
But anyways, he gets to the party and he goes up to do his song, but he can't rock without JB, because he just gets up there and he starts playing guitar and he just does the background
vocals. Okay, that was the saddest
it's like dun
scene.
Dun, 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 dun. He did not die in vain. And everyone's like, "What?"
The DJ just starts playing music in the middle of his song, like, "Okay, people move on."
Yeah, and they're all, "Okay."
I hated it.
Ooh, we're just gonna move on. And so as he's leaving, they like throw party cups at him. I was so heartbroken at that part when they just threw that drink at him. I was like, if I was there, if I was literally standing in that position and someone like threw a cup and hit me in the head, and that person was where he was standing on the stairs, he was like halfway up the stairs, and I would just turn around and punch him in the butt. Like, I would straight into his butt.
Bye. Yeah. Mm-mm.
That was wrong. I was like, so sad. That was so sad.
Yeah, it hurt my heart.
Like even though Kyle treated Jack Black meanly. Like, he kind of deserved it. He had to learn his lesson, you know? So JB is, like, wandering off. Since Kyle has the car, JB's, like, trying to get there on foot. But he gets hungry in the forest. But luckily he finds some mushrooms to eat, so he's able to satisfy his hunger. But then, a little more quickly than mushrooms usually take to start reacting, he starts feeling,
Hi? Inebriated?
Hi, how are you?
I have seen this scene in particular prior to the movie, prior to watching it fully. And so remembering that this scene was here, I was like, we get to talk about it again. We get to talk about the realities of drugs and the effects of it.
I think the medical term for it was he was tripping balls. Because he immediately started seeing everything is like a cartoon, and he's
lots of colorful things.
Yeah, he sees a Sasquatch, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, can I be a Sasquatch?" And the Sasquatch is like, "You already are. You're my baby." And Jack Black looks at his hands, and he's like in like makeup and stuff. And he's like, Sasquatch Daddy. I don't know what kind of mushrooms he ate.
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Hey.
Is that even common to something that you would see doing LSD or acid? I don't know if those two are the same.
They are.
So you don't like. Go ahead.
You see things in your mind, like you can imagine really cool things,
but not in
your
like
actual eyes that you're seeing. Still see like the real world. You know what I mean? And if you like, focus on something, like you're gonna be seeing what room you're in or where you're at. Like you don't look down at your hands and see Sasquatch hands.
Sasquatch hands.
You could look down at your hands and see them a little bit wavy or wobbly, probably, but. You're not gonna. Everything is still its own thing.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that clarification. Because I was.
Yeah. That's my experience in video games when I've played video games, and like in Minecraft and stuff.
Right.
Not that I could speak on real life, but. So Jack Black's flying on the Sasquatch, and it turns out it's really like a branch on a very like high, like the top of a tree. He ended up climbing a tree, and he like falls off, and it like makes him come to, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna keep walking toward the museum." And when he gets there, he's like going through the air ducts to try and like find the room to like sneak in. Mm-hmm. And he has his walkie-talkie on him, and he hears, like, Kyle, KG's like, JB, are you there? Are you there? And Jack Black's all, oh, sorry, this line is reserved for true rock and rollers, so I don't think I can talk to you right now.
Yes.
Kyle's all, JB, it's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. In that order. I was just following the playbook or something. Like, I was doing the rules.
I love Kyle's character.
Yes, it's so funny. Oh my god. So they end up like going, and they see like they get to the room where the pick is in, and there are lasers everywhere. Black. I don't know why this is my favorite scene, but this is my favorite scene not only in this movie, but maybe in cinematic history. Where he just like jumps in the wire, and there's no actual like wires he's dodging. Like there's just a bunch of wires, and Jack Black, they're like, okay, just go in there, film like yourself dancing, get through them, and like he's like jumps in and he's like just like doing crazy things. He's like doing the robot and then like crawling on the floor and like spinning around and like He's just doing everything Jack Black. And
yes. Absolutely.
Just like gets to the end and he's all like frozen in this like really just like inorganic pose that he like gets up and like puts his arms up and puts his leg up and he's all, I can't reach the button to deactivate the lasers. Like, suddenly, all this movement he's been able to get through. But now he's, like, stuck. And Kyle's watching. He's like, he's doing it. So he finally gets to the button. And, he's like, I can't reach it. His arms are, like, up where he's stuck. He can't, like, move his arms to reach it. And Kyle's all, use the cock. And JB's, like, starts focusing and concentrating. And then he, like, the buttons on his jeans start popping off. He's all, come on, helmet head.
I lost it when he said that. Immediately, I was in tears, dude.
And his boner comes out of his fly and, like, bink, and presses the button. And this moment, okay, I told you that I didn't watch it as a kid. I watched it like a week ago. And then I watched it again today.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear to Mandela, like, I discovered the Mandela effect in myself in a week. Because when I watched it on Netflix, I did not remember there being underwear on the dick.
Really?
And I don't know why. Because I've looked it up. I went back on all. I was like, did they censor it? Did they put underwear on the dick for HBO? I remember seeing a dick. I remember seeing a raw dog coming out of that.
A raw dog.
And so I looked it up on, I was furiously typing, HBO underwear edit, Tenacious D pick of Destiny. Nothing's coming up. And so I just started looking up Tenacious D pick of Destiny laser scene. And sure enough, on all the videos on YouTube from like 2008, 2009, there's underwear on them. And I'm all, did I just see what I wanted to see? Was I in that? When I watched it the first time, did I
greater than everyone?
I'm all, why did I think that I looked at skin, like dick skin? Like, obviously I didn't think it was a real bone, like a real penis. Right, but I did think it was like skin tone, like, and for some reason I was shocked because I was like, they really showed that. And then when I watched it again, I was like, they didn't show it? I'm like, why would they cover it up for HBO?
Weird.
But they didn't.
I hate it when that happens. I hate that so much. Because it fucks up my brain for very long periods of time.
When you really think that you saw something and you could swear by it and you have to go back and be like, nope, I might have been wrong.
Right.
But if they did a remake, I would hope that they didn't put underwear on him in that scene.
Right. Make it authentic. Come on now.
I just think it's out of character. I think that Jables would have been going commando the whole time.
Oh, he'd stick his dick. Yeah, he'd put his dick on that button. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Agreed. So he so they get the pick and they get back to the gig and they're all, we're totally gonna win the open mic night. But when they get there, they start fighting over it because Jack Black's like, I needed to sing, I'm the lead singer, and Cage is like, I'm the lead guitar player, I need it to play, it's a guitar pick. Are you crazy? So they start fighting over it and it breaks in half, and then they're like, whoa, what's the point now? Like, how do we even play music? And the manager of the club, I forgot to say, the first time they play, they give him like a card to read to announce them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And it's like the band that was foretold of its coming. Well, they they came, and now they're gonna come again in your ear, pussies. Oh my god. It's so funny. But anyways, he's so he comes out and they're all, we can't play without the pick from Satan, and he's all, you guys never needed a pick because Satan, he's not in a pick. He's inside of you. He's right here in our hearts.
Aww. I'm writing that in my Christmas cards.
We can do it. We can do it. Satan is in all of us. He's that little voice that makes you not want to go to work or exercise and tell the guy you don't like to fuck you or something like.
Accurate.
But they're like, you're right. We're just gonna go rock. And he's all, I still have the best pick that anyone ever gave me. And he pulls up the pick that Kyle gave him. He's all, let's go. And so they go, and it was actually all just a trap to lure them away from the pick, because really, the manager of the club is the demon whose tooth the pick was. And he just wanted it back. Wow. So he takes the pick. And he's like, and forms into a demon. And as he's doing that, Jack Black and Kyle come back out, and they're like, yo, we can both use one half of the pick. It'll be fine. There's still some juice left in it, probably. And then they see this demon. And, you know,
it's history from there.
And then... And the song writes itself, people. So they end up doing a rock battle with the demon, because everyone knows a demon cannot turn down a music competition. Like, if you challenge them to any kind of music competition or dance-off, they have, like, demon rules, they have to participate. You've seen it happen in Georgia. Now you've seen it happen in LA.
In LA. Remember.
So just remember, if you're ever in that, you know, have something in your back pocket. Have, like, a song prepared. Right. So that you can get out of any sticky sitch that you find yourself in with some spawns of Satan. So he's like, the terms of the rock battle end up being, if they win, then he has to pay their rent. Killer. And then go back to hell.
Yeah, that is like I would ask for that. I am.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, pay my rent.
And you put me in this situation. Now at least pay my rent.
Yeah.
And if he loses, he's all, what if I lose? And he's all, then you can take Kyle back to hell with you. And Kyle's like, what? He's all, trust me. He goes,
it's the only way. That's right. That's right. It's the only way.
They end up not doing as well as the demon in the rock battle. But as he's trying to take him back to hell with him, they end up getting a piece of his horn that got cut off. And they use it to, like, cast a spell on the demon and banish him back to hell.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, whoa, that was the best song ever. How did it go again? And they were like, I don't remember. Let's just go rock out and write another one.
Yes.
And thus was born.
Yeah, tribute. Exactly. Beelzebub was my favorite song next to Tribute. Those two are like my top.
Uh-huh.
And we took a trip to Portland one year for my friend Taylor's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to karaoke. Portland's not up as late as LA people are and Vegas people are. They go to bed at like 10. So the karaoke bar was shutting down at like 10:30.
Wow.
I was like, I went up to the DJ. I was like, please, can I do Beelzebub? Please, can I do it? And I slipped him a 20. Fucking 20. Okay?
And he put it on for you, right?
No. That fucker didn't play Beelzebub for me, and I was heartbroken.
I'd be like, excuse me, can I have that 20 back?
Yeah, he was like that's like a 10-minute song, and I was like, I know. I don't care.
It's a good song.
It's a good song. Yeah, that's so good, man.
They get back home finally, and they just get back to writing music, and he's all right, let's get our head in the game. Hand me the BOD. The what? The Bong of Destiny. And they had converted the demon horn into a bong.
Ah! Yes. Yes.
And they take a big rip, and they're all, and it's all like green
smoke
with like magic in it, the magic of rock and roll, and and that's how Tenacious D was born, my friends.
Killer movie, dude.
I loved this movie.
Did you see in the beginning where it said THC instead of THX?
Yes. And it was like, oh.
Oh man, I'm so bummed Jack Black doesn't do more stuff like this. It's okay.
It's like you could tell, like, this is what they like to do, you know?
Right.
And it's like, Tenacious D was still going on tour, too, like, before COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, they were. They totally were.
You know, something for the rocker potheads out there that are just, like, you know, need some good comedy.
Right. What would you rate it?
As far as, like, personal ratings, like, this is an Ammiel movie, so...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It's just, I'm giving it a 10, because it was for me. Like, they made this movie for themselves and me, and didn't care who else in the world liked it or not.
Yes.
I love it. I loved this movie. I watched it, like, 4 times this week.
Really?
So, yeah, and like,
Aww.
I cracked up every time, could not stop laughing when they're on Venice Beach doing the first, like, guitar off, and they're, like, zooming back and forth in their faces, and they're both, like, really serious, and it's just, like, a zoom in, like, really, like, for 1 second. I'm like, I don't know why. I can't not laugh at that.
Bravo.
It just cracks me up.
Yeah, it was pretty great. I'd give it 10 flicks out of 10 flicks. Yeah, like if you're able to nonstop laugh at something.
Yeah.
That's good shit.
Yeah.
That's therapy, honestly. So
yeah.
Does that conclude?
Concludes our Jack Black episode.
Aww. So good. I'm glad we ended with Tenacious D. That was... It lifts my spirits.
Me too. I love Jack Black.
Yes. Absolutely. School of Rock, like, come on now.
I loved that movie so much. I kept on, like, going back and forth on which one I wanted to do, School of Rock or Tenacious D. But I'm glad we did Tenacious D, because I hadn't really watched it all before this.
Me too.
But, love it.
All right.
Love you guys for watching and listening.
Yes.
Keep watching and listening.
Thank you for sticking around.
We're only going to have a few more episodes in season 1. Yeah. And we're going to take a break over the holidays and stuff.
Yes.
So keep an eye out for the next few episodes, and then keep an eye out in January for us. And
yes,
don't forget to join us on Twitch. We're going to start streaming.
It'll be a good time.
Yeah. So you're going to get plenty of us as long as you want it.
Yes, after the holidays. So be sure to stick around for that. And if you've made it this far, you can find us all over the place. Spotify, Apple, all those good places, YouTube. And feel free to comment down below what you want to see or hear for the next season as well. Yeah, so...
And email us.
Talk to us. Email us at clickandflick.
Podcast.
That's Gmail, right?
Yep. Click and Flick podcast at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm. And we'll catch you on the flickety flick.
Peace and love, players.
Peace and love.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
We'll miss you.
Mwah.